What's up, Motos? I'm here with Calin.
What's up?
We are sweating our faces off right now because it's a brisk 86, 87 degrees already at 9:30 on this Saturday morning. Beautiful day other than the heat. But Calin and I both have BMW R Nine Ts. And so I said, hey man, let's do a video of us riding the R Nine Ts. Yeah, let's see what happens. All right, we are here at my house because, of course, again, I forgot something. And we are getting ready to head out, hit the road. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, everybody. Calin and I are back from our ride on the R9 Ts.
Face melting.
Hot. It was hot. And if you say, why were you wearing a jacket? It's because we rode pretty hard.
We believe in safety.
We believe in safety.
We embody, we ride the values that we believe in.
We don't need any souvenirs from the road, scrapes, things of that nature.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've spent a lot on my skin so far. I don't think
Oh, yeah, we don't wanna-
I don't want to get this leather.
We don't want to
up.
destroy the artwork. But it was a good ride. We rode the backside of Lake Monroe, something that we've titled, I think David came up with the name maybe? Gator's Tail?
Yeah, I think so.
So Gator's Tail, like they have the Dragon's Tail up in North Carolina. We have a really cool twisty road that goes on the north side of Lake Monroe called the Gator's Tail, 73 Moto Original. So Calin, what'd you think about the ride? Tell us about why you bought an R9 T and what you thought about the ride today. And
Oh man, why I bought the R9 Tism?
I think because you saw me on mine and you were like, "That's cool."
No.
Oh.
The passion started way before I met you. Yeah, I mean, I've had a thing for these bikes ever since I saw them, man. When they came out back in 2014. Well, I wasn't riding back then, but I got the Triumph at the start of 2016, and these had hit the showroom floors. But the bike was like 2 times the price of what I paid for the Triumph almost at the time, so I couldn't swing it. And I remember I was in the showroom with the Triumph getting the break-in service done, and I asked the sales guy if I could take one for a test ride, one of the R9Ts while I wait for the service. And the guy's like, we're trying to keep them low mileage for the customers. Like our boss doesn't really want us to like take them out and put miles on them. So, I kind of finessed the guy. I'm like, oh, well, I'm really interested in buying one, but, I'm just waiting for the tax return to come back because it was February. And he's like, oh, well, if you're serious, then let me see what I can do about it. So he took it for a test ride, and I was hooked, man. Like, you know this because you've got the same bike, but when you turn it on and that boxer engine just jerks from side to side, that first startup, it's just magical. And, I finally got it a couple months ago. Is when I bought mine from over at Sky Power Sports. Second bike I bought from them, and I've been in love with the bike ever since. Kenny at Evil Motos helped do a little bit of corrective work on the paint and all that stuff.
Some stuff that I need to do on my bike too that you did already, or maybe you bought yours with the chunky ass tail tidy removed.
Yeah.
I don't know why they have that on there. Maybe some type of European regulation. but also the exhaust. I mean, my bike, when you start it up, sounds like a sewing machine. I need a new exhaust. I've been trying to figure out which exhaust to get. Everybody puts Akrapovic on there. I don't like the look of the Akrapovic, to be honest with you. And I really want my bike to sound beefy. So Calin, he did those two things. It looks awesome. But I mean, these bikes, I'm no motorcycle expert, but I definitely can tell you that it handles phenomenally. And I don't know if you attribute that to the Boxster engine or just the overall design of the bike, but the bike handles perfectly.
So yeah, that's one thing that people kind of look at this bike. You see those big cylinders just jutting out of the frame, and it looks heavy. It looks like it would be a handful, but it's not. Like, it leans into the corner so well. And yes, it is part of the reason is the Boxster engine, because it's got the it's got a really low center of gravity. But also, one other thing that people don't realize is, even though this thing is a parts bin bike, like when BMW got together and they put their heads together about designing this, they just reached into the old Bino parts and got a whole lot of stuff from other bikes. But the front forks, like the front suspension, is off of the previous generation of S1000s. So those are basically race bike forks. So it's a bike that's set up with some pretty competent bits from the factory.
I really think that this bike is enough for me. I rode Jim's R1000 the other day.
That's a beautiful sound, Jim.
It is a beautiful sound.
That was really nice.
And she fucking feels amazing.
That'll make you smile.
Yeah.
Man, I was like in love, but I would get in so much trouble on that bike.
Now, I'm saying this without, being able to disclose the source, but from what I heard, the 9T is capable of 137 miles an hour with a roughly 177-pound rider on it without any wind.
Somebody might have done that today.
Down in Mexico. I hear somebody did that down in Mexico.
Meaning South Orlando.
Yeah, no, not in the U.S. We don't. We ride within the letter of the law.
And that's, I mean, for me, that's fast enough. I know some of these guys are, doing crazy speeds, but I do get a little terrified at that speed. I like going fast into corners. I mean, that's where my fun is, and that's why I love this bike, because honestly, again, no expert, I haven't ridden every motorcycle out there, but when I'm in a corner on this bike, I feel very, very comfortable. Of course, I compare it to every other bike I own that is 50 years old.
Yeah, that's it's a bit of a leap in technology, which is funny because when BMW came out with this bike, they kind of wanted to plug a gap that they had in their lineup, which was the retro bike. And if you think about what was on the market at the time when they came out with this, you had Triumph was still making the air-cooled 900s. Mm-hmm. I think maybe you had an offering from Moto Guzzi as well. And that was about it. I think Ducati was making the Scrambler. And then BMW comes out with this thing, and it's 110 horsepower, like proper suspension. Performance-wise, it just kind of blew everything else out of the water. But it was also significantly more expensive. So that's why, that was the gripe that a lot of people had with it when it came out.
I mean, would you attribute the expense of the bike to the engineering, to the build quality?
I would definitely say it's the build quality. I mean, one thing that's kind of obvious when you walk up to one of these bikes, for the first time, is the fit and finish on BMWs in general is kind of second to none, man. Like, the attention to detail is just really good. And yeah, like the engineering itself, they've got premium, even though, like I said, it's a parts bin bike, they've got premium components on there, stuff that's been tried and tested. It just keeps on going.
So BMW automobile is the ultimate driving machine. Is this the ultimate riding machine?
I mean, I'm from Eastern Europe, dude. Like, the BMW logo is like more important than, whatever religious symbol you want to think of. Like, that's a religion in and of itself. But the ultimate riding machine, I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it that. I do think it's a great bike, but,
I mean, in your lineup, you have a Monster, and
Yeah.
you have a Thruxton, and now you have an R9T. So
If I only had to have one bike, like if I could only keep one bike out of the three, I think it might be this one.
no way.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, one thing that kind of dawned on me, and why I think this bike is going to be a classic. You know how when manufacturers come out with replacement models, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but BMW has discontinued this current generation of
R12,
R Nine T. They came out with the R12 and the R12 9T, which whoever's doing their naming convention,
Yeah, the R12 Nine T.
yeah. Dude needs to seriously
It's a
stop.
cool looking bike though.
It
It
is.
looks a little beefier than the R9T.
But, you know, one thing I've noticed is that a lot of people who have the current generation, like the discontinued one, are not super enthusiastic about the new one. Mm-hmm. And whenever that happens, you know, you can tell that you've got a bike that's got a cult following. Like, people are devoted to this model. They love it. They didn't want it to change. So, you know, I think it's going to be a bike that's going to, you know, that's going to stay with people for a long time. Like, it's definitely going to go down as a classic.
I know I will probably never sell mine just because it's the first bike I bought since I've been back riding again, and it's honestly the bike that's behind the entire story of 73 Moto. So I was looking at a couple different options, and this bike just struck me. It was so beautiful with the chrome. It's the 100-year anniversary edition, modern classic motorcycle. And so when I bought the bike, I wanted a helmet that matched this vibe. And so I was looking online, and that's how I actually discovered Heat-On. But I didn't want to order a helmet from London,
Right.
especially of that price, get it here, and then be like, this does not fit.
Right.
Which I'm glad I didn't, because these are all size up. They're European sizing. So I went to Psycho Gear. They had a wall of helmets, like a huge wall of helmets. They had 4 retro style helmets. And I was like, this is crazy. You know, and in my opinion, a lot of people are getting into the modern classic bikes or the classic bikes. No offense, I love you Harley guys. I love you all.
Wear a helmet.
Wear a
Wear a goddamn helmet.
A lot of, you know, the Gen X guys and the younger guys, they don't want to ride their dad's Harley, so they're looking for something different. You know, we're getting back into the cafe racer style bikes, and, you know, Triumph is getting bigger, and Norton just came out with, you know, a new bike again. And, you know, BMW, the R9T is a modern classic. And I felt like there's nowhere for people to go to get stuff to wear while riding a bike that fits this vibe. I mean, you would probably agree. All your bikes are pretty much modern. You know, you have a Thruxton, you have an R9T, Monster not so much, but still.
Yeah.
You know, so I had this empty space here, and that's when I decided, wonder if I could just open my own store. So that my BMW is the reason that 73 Moto exists.
That was a pretty consequential buy, one might say.
Which means I can never sell it. And all my bikes will be inside the new Ace Cafe, where I've had the engineers build a bigger platform on the ramp, the handicap ramp, because we're going to be wheeling bikes in and out of here, in and out of here. I still ride as much as I possibly can, but I also want to show them off. I want them all to be in here.
Yeah, I mean, yours in particular, man. Like the 100-year anniversary with that chrome paint job. It's a real work of art.
And that's what I mean. I'll be honest. As far as the engineering and the motor and all this other stuff, I was like, that's pretty. I want it.
It's shiny. Take
Yeah,
my money.
It's shiny, you know. So I'm not ashamed to admit that's why I bought the bike, because it just struck me when I saw it online, and I didn't even see one in person. I found one down in Miami, and I had my trailer hooked up, and I was at the gas station pumping gas into the car on my way to Miami. Mm-hmm. I had called Sky Power Sports several times, like, hey man, do you got one? Are you getting one? I'm at the gas station. Sky called me and said, hey, we got an R9T 100-year in. I was like, you're shitting me. I literally just sent a wire to Miami and was on my way to Miami to pick the bike up. I go, let me call you right back. I called the guy down in Miami. I'm like, hey man, I just found out. I told my wife what I was doing, and she said, no, you dummy. I bought you the bike for your birthday because I felt bad. I didn't,
Right.
and it was this guy to get to cancel the deal. I literally, from where I was getting gas to Sky Power Sports, was not even, exaggerating, 3 minutes. Or I could have drove all the way to Miami, got the bike and back.
Right.
So, long story short, I did end up buying it at Sky Power Sports, and they treated me right. So, you bought your bike at Sky as well.
I did. It's funny because on the day of, I was kind of thinking about trading in the Thruxton. Well, I take that back. Like I saw the bike and I was kind of in between buying it or not, and then I was like, maybe I'll just go test ride it and see if and obviously I test rode it, and the rest was history. But one thing that kind of struck me about these bikes, man, is that like you look at it, and it doesn't necessarily strike you as a retro bike. Like
Right.
Triumph's lineup, they've gone the extra mile to make their bikes look old. Moto Guzzi has gone the extra mile to make their
Royal
bikes look
Enfield
old.
has really
Royal-
gone the extra mile.
Royal Enfield has gone the extra mile, and side note, I feel like they're filling the spot that Triumph left vacant when they moved up to higher pricing and higher displacement engines. But BMW didn't really do that. Like it's got some retro-inspired cues, but you look at the bike and it's
the Boxster engine for me that
It's-
gives you that throwback, because that's an engine that they've had for. I mean, when did the first Boxster engine for BMW Motorrad come out?
1923.
1923, which is.
What'd that do?
So yeah, the Boxster engine, that pretty much covers that retro vibe for me. I mean that's the original BMW Motorrad engine.
Yeah. So that's the configuration that they originally came out with, was Boxster engine and shaft drive. And to me, like I said, it doesn't necessarily look super retro, but it's when you sit on it and you've got that elongated sculpted tank, the flat seat, the wide bars. I kind of imagine that that's pretty similar experience to riding the original R27 from 1923. I'm sure people who have one of those vintage BMWs, they'd hear me say this and be like, dude, you're insane. You have no idea
Right.
what you're talking
You
about.
get the feeling.
But yes.
You get that feeling, but when you ride the bike, you're like, oh man, you can feel the technology.
Yeah, it's modern, but it still feels like a throwback. They nailed the essence without sounding too
Right.
corny.
No, I get it. Yeah, 100%.
If you like these bikes, come and check us out at Barber, because we're gonna be. I'm planning on riding mine up there. I don't know if
So
you're bringing
where we're
yours.
gonna be is right next to the BMW. We'll be in the fan zone, and last year was a 100-year anniversary. BMW had a huge footprint, which was a 9-iron away from where we were. We'll be in that same spot, huge BMW area right in the middle of the fan zone at Barber. I don't know if I'll bring the BMW this year. I brought it last year because it was the 100-year anniversary celebration, and so I had to have it there. But I don't know. I did ride the parade at Barber on that bike. Yeah, it was. Maybe I'll bring it just to do the parade route again.
No, you kind of have to
Yeah.
to just open
I'm
it up
definitely
on
bringing the Honda and maybe a Norton, but it's how many bikes am I going to bring just to show off? So.
all of them.
Yeah, all of them.
All of them. So yeah, come and check us out at Barber.
We'll be at Barber. We'll be there with 73 Moto, Ace Cafe. We're working on another project, which I'll talk about probably in the next video or two. But yeah, exciting stuff coming ahead, and fall is the thing that I'm most excited about.
Yeah, especially the cooler temperatures.
Putting my leather jacket back on, which I've been working on a leather jacket for 73 Moto. That's we'll have maybe some sneak peeks of that in the next month and a half or so. But anything else before we cut loose? What's your Instagram?
You can find me on Instagram and now on Threads at Calin Says.
Nobody uses Threads.
I use Threads. Use Threads. It's better.
Yeah,
it is. Threads is the smoking room of Instagram.
I'm gonna check it out. I signed up for it, but then never went back to it. So I put his Instagram thing right here, And yeah, man, we'll see you next time.
Peace.